Today we are making some fun folds. This is actually the same fold done slightly differently. I'm Cindy, welcome to my channel and welcome back. I have been ill. I have had a cold that may have been bronchitis, that may have been RSV, I don't know. I know it wasn't COVID, but today I am back in the craft room and so glad to be here. And today we're just simply taking a piece of paper. This is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. And we are doing a fun fold with it because in the old days, they didn't have envelopes. They didn't use, I mean, they had them, but they just didn't use them for, when you just want to send a letter across town. They would just fold it, the paper itself into an envelope. And so that's what we're going to do today. Now this is just regular coffee or regular computer paper. There's nothing fancy about it. That was the one that I made all my mistakes on. I tried doing it with a slightly heavier weight piece of paper. This is not quite cardstock, but it's very close to cardstock. And I found that it was a little bit clunkier to use, a little bit harder to fold. So we're going to take a look at this, and we're going to look at all the different ways we can do this. And let me tuck that back up underneath there. That one did not come out quite as well, so that's for my idea book. So what you're going to need is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and you're going to turn it landscape. And do you remember when you were a kid and you made paper hats out of the Sunday comics? At least I did. My dad did that with us all the time. You're starting the same way, except that you only have a single sheet instead of 2 sheets. So I'm going to fold my corners, my top corners in so that they meet. And I did not get that exactly straight, but that's okay. Then I'm going to take my bottom and I'm going to fold it roughly in half, up about, maybe an inch. Try to get that a little bit level. And then I'm going to fold it again. So now, see, doesn't that look like the paper hat that you had as a kid, except there's only one piece to it? All right, now, this is the part where it gets, to me, a little bit tricky. So I want to take my ends and I want to fold them in so that they meet. So I want to take this end and I want to fold it in to the middle, to there. Get that out of the way. And then I want to take this end in and I want to fold it into the middle to there. Okay, so I've done that part. Now what I want to do is take that and fold them down. I want to go to the point and I simply want to fold it down. Now what I like to do, because I like symmetry, is I like to fold it so that this line is parallel with this line. Does it have to be? Probably not. I just like the two to be parallel. Okay. And then I'm going to take my point, I'm going to bring it up, I'm going to tuck it under as far as it'll go, and that's where I'm going to make my crease. Ta-da! That's it. That's all there is to it. We're going to do this a couple times with a couple different kinds of paper. So there you go. And now I did not get mine exactly square. If you want yours exactly rectangular, I did actually get this one more rectangular than I did this one. Just to fold better. Well, what can I say? Do a better fold. Make that a more level fold. And then tuck it up underneath. Oops, no, you get out of the way. You guys get out of the way. There. Now it's a little bit, it's still kind of wacky, but all right. You get the point. Let's do it again. And this was just with a coffee dyed sheet of computer paper. This was still very thin, very easy to do. I'm going to do this with a thicker piece of paper. Now this is Cynthia Hart lignin and acid free. I think I've used this paper before for other things. But what's nice is you basically can use up your sheets of white. Okay, I'm going to try to get that a little bit more level this time. I'm probably still not going to do it, but yeah, there we go. So I'm bringing I turn it landscape. I take the top two corners and I fold them in so they meet. Then I flip it upside down and I fold this in half, roughly. Roughly, come on, you can do this. So that your edges meet. And then you fold it in half again. And you're going to have a little bit of overlap when you fold it again. You have this little bit of, you know, so you're actually covering this piece a little bit, and that's okay. Okay, now you're going to fold your end in so it meets in the middle. So you've got that seam there, so you know where your middle is. So you're roughly getting it to this. Now, again, this is a little bit thicker cardstock, so it's a little bit harder to fold. I would say play around with your papers and see what works for you. Start on plain coffee paper, because that's the first thing you want to do is just get out. If you're doing this with me, get out just a sheet of plain old coffee paper or computer paper and try it with that first. Okay, now I want to bring this down. And I like to make mine parallel. So I'm going to bring this down as far over as I can and make it parallel. Now, I've not used a bone folder. I did not use a bone folder on this. I am going to use it on the heavier weight because it is a little bit harder to use. Okay, and now I'm just going to bring this end up, and I'm going to tuck it underneath, up as far as I want to bring it, up till it's comfortable, and then I'm going to do one more piece, and there we go. I already know the journal this one's going into. And when you open it up, you can tuck this into a pocket. You could attach it, but I like the fact that it's loose, and so you can tuck it into a belly band. You can, decorate the outside, but I would not decorate it with anything fancy, as far or bulky, because the point of this is that you can open it up and then write on the inside. That's the whole point, is to be able to write your journaling on the inside and then cover it up so that nobody can see it. Just like that. Isn't this a cool fold? Okay, I'm going to do it one more time so that you can see how it works one more time. And again, I'm using a slightly heavier piece of cardstock. I'm doing this one because I'm curious. This was an all-over design, and so it really didn't matter. Obviously, these were both, had no design on it. This is a portrait design, but I'm going to do it landscape. So once again, I'm going to pull it together. And try to get it in the center as much as I can. And if there's a gap, then there's a gap, Let's see how this works. Sometimes we just play around and we see what happens. Okay, I'm going to fold it in half up to about here, and it's about an inch. Maybe a little bit more. It's an inch, and see, I didn't get that level at all. Let me get that a little bit more level. There we go. And then fold it again. And then I'm going to take my ends, and I'm going to fold them into the middle. And I'm going to make sure that these ends are lined up. That's the end that you really need to make sure is lined up. It's right up here. And then I'm going to fold this one in again to the middle. It's starting to look like an envelope. And then I'm going to, at this point, take my, because now again, I would not do this with this kind of paper because it doesn't need it, but this is a bigger paper and it does have a little bit of an issue. Fold my end down. Fold my end down. I'm putting my finger there to kind of hold the point so that it doesn't move around on me. And then I'm going to bring this up, tuck it under, and press. Now I'm curious as to see what the door, oh, now see, that came out nice. This was, remember, a portrait picture. This would be a great opportunity to use some of your digitals. If you've got a digital that's for the entire page, just print it on one side, and then you've got some really cool, funky stuff going on. And again, I'm not very good at getting that level. Let me see what I can do to get that a little bit more level. There we go. And now I can tuck it up underneath. There it goes. There we go. That's a little bit more of a rectangle and a little bit less of an issue. Okay, so now we've done that, and I've got one other fold I'm going to do with you, because you remember this fold. You've done this fold before when you were a kid, and you had your Sunday paper. So now what I'm doing, I'm taking a piece of coffee dyed paper. I love the design that came out on this particular one. I did that with a tablecloth I got from Wegmans, or a table runner I got from Wegmans. So I'm just going to fold it just like you would. Nope, that's too far. Let's come back over here. I'm making a paper hat. You remember making a paper hat? So I've taken an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and I folded it in half. Now I'm going to fold my corners in just like I've been doing. And then I'm going to take one flap and bring it up. And then I'm going to take the other flap and bring it to the same spot. Our first origami as kids, right? And now we have a little paper hat. Except that what I'm going to do is now take that end and fold it in. I'm going to take this end and fold it in. And I'm going to fold that end over and this end over. And I'm going to use a little bit of Scotch tape just to tack it. And when I decorate this, I can certainly cover that up. But for right now, I'm just using a little Scotch tape to do that. Because what am I going to do with this? Watch. I've got a signature here for a piece that I'm working on. Oh, let's use this page. And now what I have, it's a little bit big, so you might want to trim it down some. But is it, what's stick? Oh, it's sticking up on the what's on the other side of my page. Now I've got this really cool pocket, and I can even tuck one of these up inside of it. I can, hang on, I have some cards here somewhere. I had a card. I could stick a card in here. I could stick a card in here. I could stick a card. And this is you know that fold. You have done that fold since you were a child. And it just sticks right down there. Now, because I've used an 8.5 by, oh, there's my cards. I knew I had some cards somewhere. Because I used an 8.5 by 11, it does stick out a little bit. If you don't want it to stick out, just trim the paper down a little bit so it's not quite so big. But now I can stick my card in here. I can stick my card in here. I can do all sorts of things. And then I can take a card and I can tuck it up underneath it. All really cool stuff. All right. I hope you are enjoying yourself and playing around with paper. I am feeling much better. I had to have my water here. I'm going to take a quick sip because I just need it. And enjoy your folding today. We have folded several sheets and made this really cool fold. And then, of course, we made a paper hat. I'd stick it on my head and show you, but, you know, first of all, it's very small, and second of all, I'm not showing you me yet. I am still sick. And I know there are all sorts of other things that you can do with this. You certainly can fold it up this way. If you want a smaller over the page thing, you can fold it that way and then stick it over the page this way. And you can make glue it and make all sorts of different places to pocket. And now look at the pockets that I've got, because now I have a pocket here and a pocket here and a pocket here and a pocket here, and they're all small though. That's the only thing I like it much bigger. You could also do it this way, and now you got a pocket here and a pocket here. Don't underestimate your folds. You can play around with these things so many different ways. So that's a really cool over the edge pocket. And then I can take my little doodad and I can stick it up in there. If you're enjoying these videos, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. Click the like button to let YouTube know that you like them. I am at the Commemorate Festival in Waterloo, New York this weekend. So if you're in that area, please make sure you stop by my booth and come see me and come see all my wares. I will have a journal bar out where you can get clusters and tags and all sorts of things that you can just use in your own journal. I will also obviously have my journals for sale, and my Diana Hunter books will also be on sale at the Commemorate. All right, you have a great weekend, and this is Cindy signing off.